Good morning, everybody. This is a message on sexual immorality. Stick to it because I'm telling you, God's going to bless your socks off. Uh, Define sexual immorality. Sexual immorality equals anything that is not sexually moral, which means God created anything that is not godly. So that would be adultery, that would be premarital sex, that would be pornography, that would be homosexuality, that would be sex, anything outside of godly sex in a marriage. And so now that we have it defined, I'm going to tell you what you get when you're sexually immoral, and I'm going to tell you what you get when you're sexually moral. All right, so Matthew 19 through 4 and 5 talks about the sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians, this is what's good. People don't realize this. 1 Corinthians 6, 18, immoral sex, sexual immorality is idolatry. It's like masturbation. You do that because you want to, of course, and you end up self-gratification. It's kind of like being greedy. It's kind of like being a liar. It's all about you building up you when you lie, and then when you're greedy, it's all about what you want to do with everything. And that's the reason he throws them together. So anytime we are sexually immoral, we are being idolaters. Like if we want to have adultery, we're stepping outside of our marriage. That's having sex outside of our marriage. Fornication is sex before marriage, and it's all about getting what we want. So we're making ourselves the idol. Then you got pornography. When God says keep the marriage bed pure, you don't need to have porn in it. You don't need to have any kind of fantasies in it. It was created for one man, one woman together in marriage. One man, one woman together in marriage. No swinging. You don't need all that foolishness in your life. And so I promise you, the more you practice morality, the better it is. I promise you. So let's get into it. So we're talking about 1 Corinthians 6:18 being that sexual immorality, any kind of sex outside of marital, is going to be idolatry. See, your body, let me take that back. The bodies of believers, 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20, talks about it being the dwelling place for the Holy Spirit. And it says for the bodies of the believers, we need to keep it pure for the bodies. You think about how many diseases, first thing that pops in mind is HIV. If we were all sexually moral, how many people would have HIV? Not near as many. All right, 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 11 talks about sex and paganism. And people don't even know what a pagan is, but a pagan is anything opposite of a Christ follower, opposite of a disciple. And a pagan is an old religious term that was used to describe anything like witchcraft. We do that in Halloween now. We don't even know we're doing it, and we do it. Ironically, Halloween's coming up. You need to do your research on what Halloween is, what a carved pumpkin is, what the costumes are for. And so it's all about being a pagan. And it's funny that people, I know a couple of pagans at work, and at my social, not my social, but my mind just went blank. My workplace where I work, my secular workplace. And so as and they all talk about their therapist, and they're always depressed, and they're always angry, and they're always foolish, and that's because they're pagans. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Romans 1:24, Galatians 5:19, Ephesians 4:19 are warnings against impurities. And so you can read those verses and you can see how God gives us a warning about being impure. So what's impure? Anything that you put in front of your eye gate that's going to stimulate you in a way that is ungodly. And so as a man, if I get stimulated by something else other than my wife, and then I want to go make love to my wife, and she has any inclination that I was stimulated other than by her, she's not going to be into it. I'm just telling you the truth, and the truth will set you free. But if I'm stimulated by her and enjoy her and treasure her, oh, it's going to be good. And so make sure that you keep it pure. And why? Because Matthew 5:8, we're talking about the blessings of the pure. Matthew 5:8 and Psalms 24:3-4 talk about the purity of it. That will bring intimacy. And so my wife taught me 30 years ago, intimacy was not sex, it was intimacy. Being connected, male and female, as one, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And you know what? If you do those three, you'll be mentally connected. My wife can finish my thoughts. Isn't that cool? Matter of fact, you can ask my wife what I'll say, and she'll tell you what I'll say. And that's because of intimacy. And see, guys, I'm just telling you, all your wives want intimacy with you. And we're dumb as rocks. Dumb as rocks. And so, matter of fact, I always say men are one step away from stupid. So let us reel that step in and become intimate with our wives. Now, I say that, and all the ladies just said, amen, they one step away from stupid. Well, my wife says that ladies, it's not if they're crazy, it's how cray-cray are they. And so, but the point of the matter is, if you have you and you have your spouse, and then you're growing towards God, a three-stranded cord is not easily broken. The closer you get to God, the closer you get to one another. So that's the reason your marriage has to be your foundation. God has to be your foundation in your marriage. He created marriage. And so in that, make sure that you do that as well. Matthew 19:6 says that our sexual relations should be between a man and his wife, a wife and her husband, till death do them part. One man, one woman, till death do they part. So if I've been married 31 years, 31 and a half, and there's 52 weeks in a year, and just say we get together, and I recommend 3 times a week. And the closer you walk to God, the more the time that you get together. And I understand schedules and people being tired and all that good stuff. But if you think about it, that's 150 times a year times 30 years. Ooh, that's what, 4,500 times? And then, never mind, a little more, a little less, or whatever. And so in that, 30 times 100 is 3,000. And then the 50 would be 1,500, 4,500. And so the better, let me say it, the more intimate you are, the intimacy, and I'm talking about the spiritual, I'm talking about the physical, and I'm talking about the mental. See into me, intimacy, see into me. The more that you are intimate with one another, that you can communicate with one another, that it's just a process, and the better that you get at it. So with that, blessed are the pure, till death do us part. So any kind of, and so we talk about this. So to have the blessings, you need protection. And I'm not talking about that kind of protection. I'm talking about the kind that'll keep you from having an affair. You don't meet with anybody that you're attracted to. And I say it that way to start with. I used to say, well, I don't meet with women behind closed doors. But the world has done got warped. So I'm talking about homosexuality. So a straight man should not meet with a woman behind closed doors. I don't go out to eat lunch with them. I don't spend time with them. I don't share stories with them. I don't talk with them more intimately than my spouse. Even on any kind of scale of being close to that, there should be an absolutely resounding no when it comes to anybody enjoying somebody else's company to the level of your spouse. Wow, I bet that just hit home. So you need to be laughing with your spouse more, cutting up with your spouse. You save all your flirts for your spouse. The other day we were riding down the road, and my wife said, "What we're gonna do?" And God gave me a one-liner, and I said, "Baby," I said, "doing nothing with you is more fun than doing something fun with somebody else." I said, "I'd rather do nothing with you than something with somebody else." And that's just the way it gets good in time. The more that you spend, we actually crave one another. 31 years later, we crave time. The other day, we had a crazy day. And when I was crazy, you ever had a day that nothing went right? Woo! We had one of those, and it was funny. And as we went through our morning that nothing went right, we had the best time just because we were with each other. And we went to one thing and it didn't turn out to be like it was supposed to, and then we left from that. Then we got some emergency calls, and that was chaos. And then we were headed this direction, then it got changed to this direction, then it got changed to this. I went through 7 counties in 3 hours, and when I'm talking about, all I was doing was making a big circle. And I just started laughing about it. And then the more we laughed about it, the more county signs, entering this county, entering this county, entering this county. And then we ended up at a spot that we weren't prepared for. And after we bought tickets, we realized it. And so we just laughed about it and enjoyed the laughter. So that's the cool thing about it. The longer you're with one another, that's where you can become more intimate. Intimacy. And that's the way God's built it. He built sex for marriage, and you can get mad at me, but if your life is messed up, just ask yourself, is it working the way that is your marriage messed up? Is it working the way God wants it to work? And if the answer is no, try something different. Try to follow His ways. He is the truth, He is the life, and He is the way. And so He built marriage. It's kind of like building a car. And the owner of the car gives the car to somebody else. And the next person puts diesel fuel in it when he built it to run it on gasoline. You run your marriage on God and His Word, and it will run more efficiently. It'll get you further down the road, and you won't have to cuss at it so much. Because that's funny, cussing at it. You get mad and you start cussing, and cussing came from cursing, and God dropped the original curse. Rebel against me, and you'll spend eternity in hell. I know some of you said, that's my marriage right now. But you can turn it around. I always say, when you're walking through hell, don't stop and sightsee. Men, man up, lead your wife out of this marriage. Not out of this marriage, out of this headache of the marriage that y'all got right now, into an intimate marriage with one another. God hates divorce. I want you to pursue Him with all your heart, and your wife pursues Him with all your heart, and y'all will get more intimate. God bless you. Can't wait to see you.